Watch how Helen Whately unleashes a blistering attack on Labour's welfare agenda, accusing the government of being completely out of touch with hard-working taxpayers. As frustration over rising costs and growing welfare spending boils over, this explosive Commons clash raises a question millions of Britons are asking. Before we continue, hit like and subscribe to Britain Daily for more explosive political coverage. Let's watch this explosive clip.
I respect the Secretary of State.
We all.
He's talked at some length about what's wrong with the welfare system, but the fact is there is no welfare bill in the King's speech.
Exactly.
I reckon he is stuck between a rock and a hard place. He knows the benefits bill is out of control. He knows the public are sick of seeing their taxes go on ever higher welfare handouts. He even knows how the savings could be made, because I've told him. But he also knows, they're laughing, but they're the problem. Because he also knows the MPs behind him will have none of it. And with the Prime Minister clinging on by a thread, no wonder there was no welfare bill in the King's speech. But here's the problem. Failure to grip welfare puts them dangerously out of touch with people out there. The people he and I and all of us are here to serve. Madam Deputy Speaker, let me read from an email I received recently from a constituent. I'll call her Sandra. She says, I am writing to you with utter frustration. We work so hard, and for what? What is the point of working? Please tell me. To watch everyone else do nothing and get paid more than you? I've done the benefit calculation online, and I'd be better off quitting my job. I'll be better off getting universal credit. How is that normal or fair? And she is far from alone. I've heard that feeling expressed time and again since I've been Shadow Secretary of State, on the doorsteps, in the pub, in the supermarket, on the train, and all over social media. Beyond Westminster, people are despairing. Family breadwinners are losing their jobs, homes are being sold to pay the bills, and young people are losing hope. Millions have drifted out of work. For many, claiming benefits simply makes more sense. And for those who are working, each month they're seeing their earnings disappearing in higher taxes and higher bills with nothing left over. No wonder they're fed up. People doing the right thing, paying for people who've opted out, and what is Labour doing about it? Absolutely nothing. They're making a big mistake, because the bald fact is Alarm Clock Britain is sick of paying out for Benefit Street. The honourable gentleman wanted me to give way.
She has made a very powerful case, but of course her party was the future once, and I would simply ask why all of the challenges she's identified in the welfare system weren't fixed when they were in government and they set up this welfare system. They built this system.
I hate to tell the honourable gentleman, but they're in charge now and they've had nearly 2 years and nothing is changing. Madam Deputy Speaker, don't just take my word for it. Here are the numbers. Over 8 million people are now claiming universal credit. Almost 4 million people are claiming sickness benefits. Over 600,000 households are getting over £32,000 a year in benefits, more than the take-home pay of the average British worker. 91,000 households are getting over £50,000, enough to put you in the top 10% of our nation's earners. And 16,000 are getting over £60,000 in benefits every single year. If you worked, you'd have to earn over £70,000 to have that. And all this is costing the country £140 billion a year. People know when they're being taken for a ride. But yesterday, the Prime Minister had a chance, one last chance, to hit reset, to reverse those trends, to get people off benefits and to bring down the welfare bill. But with his back against the wall, no surprise, the Prime Minister's King's speech contained none of this. Because while hundreds of thousands of people struggle to find work, the Prime Minister is only interested in protecting one job, his own.
And he hasn't done that very well.
And yes, the Secretary of State can try to claim he's doing something, his work experience programmes, his youth schemes, the savings-free Tim's review and all of that. But we all know that is just tinkering at the edges. They tried welfare reform last summer and failed. And now the government has given up altogether. They had no plan when they got into office, and they still have no plan now. And that matters. Because for every day of inaction, hard-working taxpayers pay the price. Doing nothing costs money. The welfare bill will reach £170 billion by the end of the decade. Money that could be so much better spent, like on defence, making our streets safer, or think of this, left in people's pockets for them to spend themselves. Well, the honourable gentleman wants me to give way. Has he got a welfare savings plan? If so, let's hear it.
The government, and it's getting people off of NHS waiting lists and back into work. But my intervention, because it's not for me to answer the questions right now, my intervention was simply to give her another opportunity to actually ask the question that was put to her by my old friend a moment ago, which she didn't really answer, which is that this broken system that she described as Benefit Street is a system that they created.
14 years.
Why in 14 years did they do nothing about it? And isn't it really the case that it's easy to create political anger over this rather than for them to have dealt with it? And that's why it's now this government that's dealing with their mess.
Oh dear, what a shame. No ideas for savings there at all. And if the honourable gentleman thought that would get him a job under the next Labour leader, I'm afraid he'll have to keep trying.
Is it Anne? Is it Wes?
Madam Deputy Speaker, Labour claim to be the party of working people, but the facts don't back that up. They always leave office with unemployment higher than when they arrive, and they're on track to do it again. There are now over 300,000 more people unemployed than when they came to power. Their policies have actively killed jobs. The jobs tax, the employment rights bill, and now, in yesterday's King's speech, we have the regulating for growth bill. You couldn't make it up. Employers are being asked to swim against the tide with bricks in their pockets. And now the government is planning to make it worse. Many businesses have stopped hiring. Others are letting people go. Businesses tell me they're getting hundreds of applications for jobs they might have struggled to fill a couple of years ago. No wonder there are 700,000 graduates on out-of-work benefits. Youth unemployment is at over 14%. This is a disaster. Young people want to get their lives going, earn money, pay their own way, save for a car, but instead, hundreds of thousands are stuck. The Secretary of State knows this. That's why he's frantically announced a flurry of schemes at the cost of £2.5 billion. And obviously, a work placement is better than nothing. But the young people I speak to want jobs, not government-funded work experience. Madam Deputy Speaker, less than 2 years ago, the country voted us out and them in. They have laughed and jeered at us. But actually, they're not laughing now, because they have found out that governing is hard. They promise voters change, but the only change most people have seen is that they are poorer. Who knows what they got up to in opposition? But it clearly wasn't working out what they would do if they won the election. The honourable gentleman is chuntering. Now, I know that yesterday he called the Leader of the Opposition rude when actually she was just telling the truth. He doesn't like to hear the truth. Maybe he should do a little less talking from over on the front bench and a little more listening. Madam Deputy Speaker, being in power is not an end in itself. What matters is what you do with the power voters trust you with. I am sure many of them care about our country, but caring is not enough. The question is, what are you going to do to fix it? And if the King's speech we're debating today tells us anything, it's that they don't know. The only things they can think of will actually make the situation worse. And on welfare, they have basically given up. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, I believe in learning lessons whenever you can. And one of the lessons from the situation they're in is make good use of your time in opposition. Work hard, think hard, and make a plan. That is what we have been doing. That's why we've been able to set out an alternative King's speech, which actually has more in it than the actual King's speech. Take our plans for welfare. And to be clear, this is just our plans so far. We have a plan to reform welfare and make £23 billion in savings. We will bring back the two-child benefit cap, stop handouts to foreign nationals, stop sickness benefits for anxiety and ADHD, bring back face-to-face assessments, ban sixpluncers, reform fit notes, and we will restore the household benefits cap to its original purpose of making sure work always pays better than benefits. No more gaming the system, no more free cars for tennis elbow or acne. Britain will no longer be a cash machine for the world. People have had enough. They can see our welfare system isn't working. It's not even working for people who are seriously ill or disabled. And I say to the right honourable gentleman, we're not keeping our plan secret. It's all out there. Other parties are adopting our policies. Reform, for instance. They have not been shy, although they have been confused, and they're not here today. The right honourable gentleman should feel free to do so too. And though the MPs behind him will hate it, we are here to help. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is the most surreal King's Speech debate I've ever taken part in. People out there are angry, frustrated, fed up. They can see the country isn't working. They want the government to fix it. But Labour are too busy working out who should be in charge. And the saddest thing is, it won't make a difference. They can change their team captain, but they're still the same team. I've heard them cheer on taxes for farmers, family businesses and schools. I've heard them cheer for lifting the two-child cap. I've heard them argue against welfare savings. They think you fix poverty by giving out free breakfasts, paid for by people who are struggling to pay the bills themselves. Labour's answer is always the same. Tax more and spend more of other people's money, and it is the wrong answer. Sometimes in life, you have to pick a side. We have picked one. We're on the side of people who get up each day and go to work. They're doing the right thing, and we back them. Sometimes things go wrong, and people need help, and that's why welfare should be a safety net, not a lifestyle choice. Madam Deputy Speaker, Labour have made their choice. It's to carry on as if nothing is wrong. Yesterday's King's Speech was a chance to fix things, and they blew it.
What a remarkable intervention from Helen Whately. This wasn't just another political speech. It was an argument designed to tap directly into the frustrations many people feel every day when they look at their payslips, energy bills, mortgage payments, and the rising cost of living. Throughout her speech, Whately argued that Labour has failed to get a grip on welfare spending and has ignored growing concerns from working families who feel squeezed from every direction. She painted a picture of a country where people work harder than ever, yet often feel like they are falling further behind. Whether you agree with her or not, one thing is clear: this debate touches a nerve. Across Britain, millions of people are asking the same questions. Why does it feel harder to get ahead? Why are taxes rising? Why are public services under pressure despite record levels of spending? That emotional frustration was at the heart of this Commons clash. For many voters, politics is no longer about party slogans or campaign promises. It's about whether they can afford their weekly shop, pay their bills, keep their jobs, and provide a better future for their children. The government insists its policies are helping working people. Critics argue the opposite. And as economic pressures continue to mount, these arguments are only becoming more intense. The biggest question now is whether Labour can convince voters that its approach is working, or whether public frustration will continue to grow. What do you think? Has Labour got welfare policy right, or have they completely missed the mood of the country? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this coverage, hit like, share this video, and subscribe to Britain Daily for more explosive Commons debates, PMQs clashes, and breaking UK political news.